Okay, now let's look at configuring gtd-php. When you install, you'll have a template file for the configuration, config.sample.php, and what you need to do is to copy this file and name it config.php, and then edit it. If you're upgrading, then take your old config.php, rename it to config.sav, create the new config.php file from the template, as we've just done here, and then carry over some of the old settings from your old config.sav file to the new config.php file. The items you'll take over are the database name, the MySQL username, and the MySQL password. If you're setting it up afresh from new, then you'll need to create a MySQL database and give it a name and put that name into the config file here. And you need to take your username and your password for MySQL and enter them into the file here as well. And that's it. Your new file is ready to go. Now there are some optional settings you may wish to change. The title is what appears at the top of each screen. The date mask affects how dates are displayed within the program. You can choose to change the default theme that appears when you view gtd-php from a browser, and you can set this to be default, to menu sidebar, or to any of the other themes you've got installed. If you want the name of the current page to appear in the title bar, then you should set title suffix to true, otherwise keep it false. If you want to trim the length of descriptions that appear in the item list, you can set the length that they should be trimmed to here. The default is 72 characters. If you want the full description and full outcome to always appear in the list of items, you can set this to 0. Or if you want descriptions to appear a little longer than the default, you might want to set that to 150 characters. Within item reports, we often find that users want to display more text than the amount they'd be trimmed to in a list of all items. So there's a second config entry to trim the length of descriptions just in item reports. And the default is that set for 0, so that it'll always show the full length of descriptions and the full desired outcomes for children of items in the item report. Now, you may wish to change the default first day of the week in the calendar setting. Normally Sunday is displayed as the first day of the week. You may want to change that to Monday or any other day of the week. In item report, you've got the option of only displaying the most recent completed children or displaying all completed children. The default is to display all completed children, but we can change that, say, to 3. And then on a project report, it'll only display the 3 most recently completed actions and the 3 most recently completed waiting ons, and so on. And there'll be a button there to display the rest of them. We've introduced some JavaScript productivity aids into version 0.8, and you can switch those on as default, in which case within each individual browser you look at, you'll be able to switch them off from the preferences screen, or you can set it as off by default and you won't be able to see them anywhere. We recommend that you keep that as set on, and then in those browsers that can use JavaScript, you can have the JavaScript enhancements, and in those browsers that can't use JavaScript, for example on mobile devices such as cell phones or PDAs, you can set the cookie value in the preferences screen to disable JavaScript enhancements just in that particular browser.